Hello guys, I hope you're well. So I just wanted to do a quick video to let you know 8 composting tips that can make a massive difference to your compost. So let's get started. We all know composting is super important because it helps slow down the process for methane gases that are being given off into the environment, and it also is a great way to nourish the soil and give back to our planet. So tip number 1, it's important to get an ideal balance between green and brown matter. So the green matter is your food and your veggies, and brown matter is paper, leaves, like leaves from your garden, and trees like dead leaves, any cardboard boxes, something like that. So you want to have an ideal balance. So you need 70% brown matter, so cardboard, paper, tissue, that kind of stuff, and 30% green matter, so your veggies and your fruit. Tip number 2, you want to make sure that you're adding brown matter a few handfuls at a time. So you want to make sure you're adding the brown matter along with the green matter, just so you break it up. So balance is completely key in this one, and you want to make sure that all your fruit and veggies aren't going to get clumped together, and then it makes it harder for it to break down. Tip number 3, remember to remove any sticky labels off your fruit and vegetables. This is so important because they are made out of plastic and they're not going to degrade, and they will also get bugs stuck to them, which we don't want because it will hurt the bugs. Tip number 4, we want to make sure that we chop the green compost up nice and small. So you don't want it to be any bigger than your finger, and that's going to help it decompose a little bit faster. So it's going to speed up that process, especially if it is cold outside and the process isn't as quick as normal. Tip number 5, so the brown compost, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can get it from anywhere. It can be an old newspaper, it can be leaves that you find at a park, it can be free. It doesn't have to be expensive at all. Tip number 6, so you want to make sure that you keep your compost moist, so you can add a little bit of water every now and then. You want to think of your compost to be the same consistency as like a damp sponge, so you want to make sure that it doesn't dry out. If it does dry out, it's going to take a lot longer to process, so you want damp and warm. Tip number 7, you want to make sure that you're turning your compost every 2 to 3 weeks with a composting fork, so that it doesn't all get stuck together and it can process a little bit quicker. By doing this, you're going to make sure that anything that is clumped together, so any green matter, is going to get a chance to move around and get to the bottom, so it will get warmer and damper, which will make it move a little bit quicker. This is especially important to do if you're adding a lot of compost. So for example, there's 6 of us living in this house, so we actually have 2 giant compost bins on the go, and we need to make sure that we're turning them a little bit more often than 2 to 3 weeks. Tip number 8, last but not least, you want to make sure that you're keeping fruit flies away because you don't want them to hatch in there, and you're going to do that by making sure that you cover the top. So once you've put your veggies in, your fruit and veg, and you've got your brown matter in, you're just going to cover the top with either, again, another piece of cardboard or some newspaper, just to keep it a little bit more dry on the top so those flies can't get in and hatch eggs, because that's not very pleasant when you open it up and you just get swarmed by a load of fruit flies. Okay, that is all we've got for now, guys. I hope that was helpful, and have a lovely day. Thanks. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on ethicallyso.com.